Could you guys hear me, YouTube land? Anybody there? Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. All right, I should be going on Discord as well. I'm going to do the disclaimer. And I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrency. This risk can be substantial and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment and host Apple Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers regardless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to markets in general or to implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results involved, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and this webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. Analysis themselves, I share trades and potential trades that I take for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach traders how to identify specific areas of traders manage themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky. If you decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and I have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that I'll need to input exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter your own values and use to confirm zone prices and your zone results. Your spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long trade positions and trade positions and trade.
Consumer confidence September flash reports on the feed.
Alrighty, so world is ending. It looks like on the way to zero. Got multiple positions on, starting with Mr. Nasdaq. There was a broken ice setup here, so one of my 6 distinct setups that I used to trade off of in important areas. This one was just a what we call a bark in the room. I have these distinct trading strategies. So I look for my trading setups. Hold on, let me show you guys this. I'll put this in the room too. So there's always confusion on like the strategies versus the setups, right? So this is my course. These are the 6 setups, and we're about to add another one. And the good thing about this course that I just put out is I can add in new information and continually update it without, you guys always get the updates. So anyway, these are my setups I look for, right? And we'll go over these as I'm putting them on today. But I have 6 distinct setups, so I look for those setups in important areas, right? And then these are my important areas that I trade in. So the short I put on a Nasdaq was a bark, which is just any event. So the events on their own are inherently the edge, right? And then when you can add these events to important areas, you increase your edge dramatically. So this was just a blind, it's called a blind ATR retest confirmed. So I was, this event came in, this was buy ice here, way back here. There was a couple different buy ice, there was one down here, but then another one fired off right here. You can see this is almost 360 contracts. That's the zone right here. This light blue zone.
NQ stock by NQ, 277 contracts.
Okay, that's what I want because now I can trail myself. I'm out of most. I have a couple still on. Anyway, we did the ATR. Actually, it was down here. ATR retested the zone exactly. Got short, and I got out of at a couple important areas that I look at where I piece out of trades. We'll go over that, and I've been short this whole entire time. I got out of a couple more right before the number. Now it's starting to come back a little bit. So what I'm going to do, the way I trail my stops, so I get out at important areas. Like I said, we'll go over that, and then my final piece that I get out, I usually try to make it to the major lugs, which were just down a little bit ago, so it didn't make it to the lug yet, or an opposing volume setup. So we just heard the stop run fire off 276 right in this right around this prior area, but I'm gonna get rid of this. We have a new zone drawing tool that we're working. A member of my room and I teamed up, and he developed it, and it's not working. It's based on his computer. He's actually in France, so he's not around. I don't know what happened. I emailed him, but it's not working as of right now. But it's pretty incredible. I showed it last week, I think. But for today, you guys are gonna have to watch me draw zones, which is a big pain in the ass. I understand, but that's the way it's got to be today. So I would say this started right about there. So we talk about this every single day in my room. You know, with stop runs, the sweep orders get first right to the book. So someone comes in and sweeps the order book, they get first right. So the stops fire off second. So you have to you don't know where the stops are in that sweep order. So you got to just start the stop run where the sweep started, right? These sweeps started down here, but these prices traded a couple times, so I know the stop runs weren't there. So I moved it up to here. Oh, what did I just step out of? Hold on. Oh, that was my gold. So I was long gold too. I got stopped down and got big in. We'll go over that.
Gold stocks stopped by GC. 324 contracts.
That's good. I can trail my stop to that too. So we'll go over that here in a second. So anyway, this is the new zone. I can put a new trade off of this, and I can trail my my short to this zone as well. So this is the spreadsheet. I'll put these values in the spreadsheet. You guys can have access to this too. I've got this on a website now. So it looks like this. Actually, it looks like this. So you can plug in everything yourself. I'll post that here in a second where you guys can get access to that. So let me put this on in real quick. 14,964 quarter is the top of the zone. Uh-oh. Did I just lose my internet? Hope I didn't lose my internet. It sounded like I did. Things are still moving around. And then the bottom of the zone is 57 quarter. See, the way we do this, so we plug in the zones, we plug in the current ATR where I'm using a 5-minute average to range while there's 14 period average to range. We plug that in, very important because it's telling you the current volatility. This is telling me Nasdaq's basically rotating about 22.5 points every 5 minutes. So it's not crazy volatility, but it's decent. So now this is telling me where I can get out. So say I shorted this zone, I'd be getting out at 14,990, which is coming up here. So again, I only have a 2 left on from my original short, so I'm going to stop it out at 14,990 if it gets up there. So that is working.
NQ Iceberg sell NQ 152 contracts.
All right, so stuff's firing off as this crawls back up. So I will draw this new event as this happens. I really wish I had my auto drawer right now. But I've already trailed my stop to this event. But, you know, once this develops, I can potentially take a short off this new event. So the way we do it is you want to revert to the most, or divert, whatever the word is, to the most recent event for your trades, right? So I'm going to wait for this to finish drawing, and then I'll draw this sell ice zone here. Nasdaq's really whipping around here, so I got to be pretty quick here. Quickly on short crude, there was a stop run.
Russell Iceberg by RT 154 contracts.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun day trying to keep up with all these markets. Anyway, there was a stop run in an important zone. So this is an IZZY trade, inflection zone trade, one of my trading strategies. Again, this is an important area. This is the top of this current balance. It was the bottom of this current balance, or the prior balance. And it came up here. I got my volume event in an important area. I got short. So I'm short there. Short that, I should say. Actually, I don't think I have my stop in there. Let's see here real quick. You got to continuously update this ATR too. So my stop, I shorted at, it was actually 50 or 51. That just changed because I increased the ATR, but I'm short from there, and my stop goes at 91 to 15. So let me trail that right quick. 91.15. Alright, that is working. Got that. Alright, so this is the most recent event. This is barely threshold. I don't know if, so we talk about that. What did I just get filled on? With short bonds, I just, we'll go over this here quickly too. So I just stepped out of there. So this is a good example of I was short off of this event. This was about 3,000 sell ice right here. This incorporated that. I got this was the bark trade where I got the blind ATR retest. So I market moved below, retested, I got short. A new event came in here, and then I trailed my stop to that event. So my stop was up here. We move at an ATR outside of the zone so we don't get algoed on nonsense, areas that aren't important. I make so this original trade I got short on, I make the market come back through the zone and push an ATR out of there for me to be wrong. Or when a new event fires off, I will trail that stop then to that new event. So that's what I just did. I got stepped out. I made a very small profit on that, but I'm out, right? I don't just pretend, because I want the market to go down. I don't ignore new events and say, well, maybe it'll just hold and keep going, right? If this turns into a bullish event, I'm out. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm out of that trade. And I could potentially trade off of this. We'll get into that, but I don't think so because we use, for the bark trades, we're using algo guy. So it's this exponential moving average. We'll get into that, but this is definitely bearish, so I can't put any longs on as of right now. So you can see bonds, this thing's getting smoked. So no longs for me for the bark trade. Certain trading strategies I will take regardless of what algo guy looks like, but not the bark trade. All right, so I never stopped out of this. I'm still short NASDAQ, and I can potentially go short. I can add to this. I just have to decide if so this is where a little subjectiveness comes in. So we talk about, in my course, we have thresholds for each one of these markets, right, that are tradable events. Well, do I want to be drawing 150, 160 when we've already seen, almost 400, 300? The stop run was over 200, almost 300. When you're the threshold is a minimum, right? So when you're seeing threshold hit, the threshold hit, you should only see it like normally 3 to 5 times in a day. When you see it 3 to 5 times, it's 3 times already. It's been hit 300. You probably don't want to be drawing zones for 150, right? That's where most of my stuff is black and white. You plug the stuff in, threshold, and then you trade it. You have to make some judgment calls, just like when you have to change for volatility, right? So today's a more volatile day. For those of you that love to use your static stops, I tell you all the time, that's just not the way to trade. I'll get emails all the time. I love your style, but I don't like how
November stock sell CL 210 contracts.
I don't like how you risk 30, 40 points in the NASDAQ, blah blah blah. I like to put on risk 10 points to make 20. Well, when the ATR is 25, 30, 40 points, you're risking 10 points. You're going to get stopped out very likely, right? So I adjusted the volatility. So the same with these volume events. If you're seeing large amounts come in, don't be drawing zones to these minimums, right? So I'm not even going to draw this zone. I still have my stop working on this initial zone. I just have to figure out if this zone turned into a bullish event, and that's in the spreadsheet as well. If it turned into a bullish event, I can't go short off it, is what I'm saying. So let's make sure this is up to date. 23.19. So that the invalidation price was 87.50. So if this got up to 87.50, I can't short it.
Russell Iceberg by RT 153 contracts.
It did not. It's coming back right now, kind of, but it did not. So I can still potentially short off of this zone. So we'll look at those possibilities here. What did happen here, we have a different trade called the reversion trade. So we have 2 different trades we do in my room. We have the position trading, where I just showed you off these trading strategies, going for bigger moves. Then we have the ATR reversion trade, where you literally take trades back to the zone. So we have a 1 ATR, a 2 ATR, a 3 ATR. The 1 ATR you would have been short at 85, and you're back at the zone at 66.50. I think that would have filled exactly right there. This is the pattern, guys. It happens all day, every day in these markets. It's crazy, right? So this is why we came up with this trading strategy. And at 85, you're out at the zone. You know, you don't. This trade isn't. This is just.
November iceberg sell CL.
Hold on, I gotta-
153
There's
contracts.
some stuff in. I'll come back to this. There's some stuff in crude, and I am short, so I got to trail my stop to this event. Hold on a second. Let's get this back over here. I don't know what just happened there. All right, so we heard stops, and now you hear buy ice or sell ice. So I'm going to trail. I'm trailing my stop to this stop run. Remember, I'm short, so I'm going to trail it to this, and then I'll draw the new zone, which is fired off as well, and I can trade off of that. But I want to trail my short to this event, just like I did with bonds that I just showed. 90.25 to 90.19 is your zone. 90.25 to 90.19. See, it's very black and white. You just plug the stuff in. ATR is 0.265. So off this new zone, if I were short, I'd be stopping out at 90.55. So my original stop was 91.16. Now I'm going to move it down to 90.55, which it may already be at. Hold on, crude. Right? Because I base my stop. I put my stops on based on events, not because I'm trying to save money. Right?
Iceberg by ES. 701 contracts.
All right, everything's firing off. So anyway, my stop was above this zone. Now a new event fired. Now I bring it down, 90.55. Did I just? All right, so I just stopped out of the rest of that Nasdaq trade, so I'm out of that. It was a profitable trade, but it came back a little bit. I'll show you where I got out to once this thing slows down a little bit. Where I got out of the first parts of it. All right, so I'm going to trail my stop now to 90.55. So now I'm basically going to scratch this trade if it comes back, and I'm not doing it just because how many traders do this?
Soy meal iceberg by ZM. 151 contracts.
Where they're like, yeah, I got short with Scott. Well, now I'm gonna trail my stop just to break even, so I don't give back my profit. Well, this area means nothing if there's nothing going on, and you're very likely going to get algoed. I trail my stops when I see a new event, so I move my stop for a reason down to here. So if it stops me out, I'm gonna break even on the trade, and then on to the next trade, right? I could potentially, if this does get an ATR above here, I can take a long off of this newest event. Actually, that's not the newest event. This is the newest event, so let's draw this. And I could take a long. Why? Well, my filter for longs is okay right now. All right, I think I just stepped out of crude too. All right, so I'm out of crude. I basically scratched it. I lost $47, so I scratched that. This is a bullish algo guy. This is exponential moving average. I post it every week. The video for it. So you can see this got an ATR above that first zone. Now I'm actually going to draw this most recent one, and I'm potentially going long off of this. And I know I'm going very fast, guys, but this is live trading. Like, I get these emails. You talk so fast in your webinars. It's like, well, this is live trading, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's why you can go back and watch the webinar replays in Bookmap. And then I have over 600 webinar replays for the last close to 3 years in my trading room that you can go back and watch and slow it down and slow my voice down or whatever you need to do. But this is live trading, so I can't sit here and like talk slow. All right, so let's see. That's all ice triggered there. More came in here. More came in here. It's basically around one tick. Let's see. That came up a little bit. Looks like this was about a one tick zone here. I'll draw it like that. 90.33 to 90.32 is your zone. And it already looks like it. I don't know if that was 8. No, that wasn't ATR. 90.33 to 90. Oops. ATR here is 26.7. Very quiet. I forgot to turn on my tick strike. I'll do that in a second. All right, so to make this a long setup, it needs to touch the validation price of 90.60. Once it does that, then I can look for longs for this particular setup. It obviously has done that. So now what I can do is I can take bark trades this way because algo guy is in my favor. That's my filter for the bark trade. And then I can take a liquidity trade too. A liquidity trade is basically a bark trade, but you're trading for the liquidity. So ATR retest confirm, I'll go long the lick trade as well, and I'm looking at that as my target. the lit trade is just literally you're trading the lick and then you're out. The bark trade, I'll get out in important areas and we'll go over that. But I'm just waiting for a retest of the zone, which is very, very likely because that's all these markets do all day long is retest these volume events, and that's why we have a trade for that too. So I can't put those on in the webinar. They're just too fast. I can't keep up with them. So I'll wait for a retest here. I'm going to put an alert in case I'm not on this page so I know that it retested the zone. There you go. So that's working. All right, so I stopped out of that. Remember, my stop was at 87. I caught a big portion of that down move, though, based on that first event that I talked about. Hold on, actually, I'm long. I'm still long gold. So gold gave me the finger, stopped me out earlier to the exact tick, and I don't usually get back in trades, but I had a very strong feeling this was going to happen, and I was a little mad, and I said, screw you, I'm getting back in. But anyway, I originally got long. This was an Izzy trade. These are the best Izzy trades you can take. This was a stop run into this inflection zone on this chart. This was a huge whopping move into this zone. So again, here I'm going to show this in a second here. There's a volume event in an important area, right? That's the edge. I got long. By the way, there was like 3,000 buy-ins here yesterday, right before the Fed, or a couple hours before the Fed came out. How did that work out for them? It doesn't look like it worked out very well for them. Anyway, I'm sure that led to some of this move down, them getting out of their trade. You always got to assume they're initiating positions, right? I get so many traders like, well, you don't know what they're doing. Are they hedging? Are they getting out of shorts? Guys, just play them like they're initiating positions, and you make your life a lot easier because you're never going to know what they're doing. So just play the areas, as they present themselves. So anyway, this is the newest stop run here, right where this old event was. Oh, so anyway, this is what happened earlier. It was quite fun. And I had double size on, so it's kind of upsetting. Anyway, I got long that. The Izzy trades are aggressive trades where I don't wait for retest, even though this did retest, shockingly. What I did, and then there was a new event right after that. So I had my stop down here. This new event fired off, so I moved it up right below the zone. It literally came down. I don't even see it trading on this, but it stopped me out to the exact tick and then did that. And it was just sitting here, and I'm like, you know what, I'm getting back in. It was my original entry price. I didn't do double size, of course, and then it went. But I don't usually get back in trades, but this one I did, and it worked out. But that was a nice little screw job, and gold gave me this morning. That was not fun. All right, so newest event. That was only 100. That's not threshold. I know I heard a stop run in there. Hold on. Or was it this? No, I don't even see where that was. Oh, it was this one here. There you go. 323 stops. So I'm going to delete this prior zone. And I'm just going to draw. Whoops. I'm going to draw this new zone, and I'm going to trail my long. What is going on here? Oh, you know why? This was drawn with the drawing tool, and it didn't. It's not working right now, so I can't delete that zone. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just, that looks like pretty much the area. 1941.2 down to 1939.9. Plug that in the spreadsheet. 1941.2. 1939.9. ATR in here is 1.94. All right, so if this I was trading off of this new zone and I went long, my stop would be at 77. So I'm going to trail my stop. That was from way down here. This first event, these first two events. This is how I trail my stops. I keep talking about that because that's how I do it. So I trail the stop was there. Now I'm going to move it in ATR below there. That's how I do it. And then I'm going to let this potentially keep going. There's areas I'm going to be getting out at, and we'll go over that here in a second. Let me just trail my stop here in case this pulls a gold and swipes back on me. And the natural gas numbers coming out here in a couple minutes. Okay, that's working. Things are slowing down. I can catch my breath. Let me post this. So this has everything that I do, everything I use. Here's my course. Here's for the spreadsheets if you guys want, the spreadsheets, and then also the zones. You can can get the charts of my, actually that's not it, hold on. These here, so that, I was talking about these Izzy zones, you have them for each one of these products, right? And you can follow along each day and see how they've changed or whatever. You can draw these yourself too, and it's not rocket science, but these are where I draw them, and they're very, very valuable. So that's what that is. Anyway, that's that. Website, email, Twitter. Here's my trade room. This is what I do every day. And you guys keep, not all you, but some of you keep emailing me about free trials to the room. There's too much information in there that I don't give out free trials, right? It's like if you come in the room, you get access to a lot of stuff. So I don't do free trials. This is your free trial. These Bookmap webinars are your free trial. I do what I'm doing in here is exactly what I do in my trade room. And then here's your discounts for everything I'm using. Bookmap, Marketplace, Apex. We can go over that a little later. Spot Gamma. Spot Gamma actually called this Whopper move. We'll go over that. His comments yesterday, we were talking about this in the trade room. And by the way, I told my trade room there's going to be a sneak attack overnight in these equities, because that's what usually happens. Europe kind of piles on after like big numbers and the market sold off. And here's your sneak attack overnight. For some reason, it can never do this during the day. I mean, it did it yesterday, but then it gets killed at night. So we call that. But Spot Gamma, we'll go over his comments from yesterday. Tick Strike. Speaking of which, I got to get that going so I can. That is very helpful in judging, judging. It's from a movie. I'm trying to think what it is. Can't remember now. That was a movie quote. Anyway, helps me judge certain areas and just know what's going on in the market. It can get very annoying when you have a trade on and you get to watch it go against you and you get to hear it. It tickles all your senses. It sucks, but it's definitely good information. And then Market Pulse that I'm using, we'll go over that too, hopefully today. This is a new indicator they have in Bookmap. It's awesome. Tells you. So I have mine set at the most buying or selling for the last hour. You can see here. Here's a bunch of buying. It shows up on the sweeps as well. This is just incredible information, guys, like that other traders don't see, right? So this was good. And I didn't trade off of this, but this is an example. You had most buying in an hour. It hit the threshold, a 70% threshold. That's where we'll draw the yellow. That's my buying cue. You had sweeps. Look what this did. You guys ever see this pattern? Retest, gone. All right. So if you're trading off market pulse, you could have got yourself a 10-point trade right there. We'll maybe go over some examples here if it starts to slow down a little bit. So that's that. Let me put this in YouTube and Discord, and then I can answer some questions. I can catch my breath. Where's caffeinated Captain Caffeinated? He's not in here today. There's 85 texts per minute. Hold on, let me put this in the. I'm making fun of a guy that comes in here and just literally posts the entire. I can't even see other people's posts because he posts every 12 seconds. It's a little nuts. All right, so that's that information there. And so you can see, guys, look at how this market, this was the zone I originally got short off of. I didn't take another short off of it, but look how the market bounced right off of that area. This is not coincidental. The market responds to prior volume events, right? So this is looking like a bullish event off of this stop run here. Remember, I didn't draw this one because it was right at threshold. I drew this one. But I can't go long like my traditional bark trade. Well, let's see. Actually, maybe I can. This is starting to pull. Yeah, I could. So if this comes back, I'll take a long here. Right, so you see this, again, this is exponential moving average. This is the short term. These are just moving average ribbon bands, different time periods. You can get all this information in my trade room. We have you can get the settings, or you can get my download from Thinkorswim and use this. Anyway, you can see how it pulled above, price pulled above, it pulled the blue above. It's tried twice now to pull back below. If that doesn't happen, then I expect one of these. But I can take this long off of this event, is what I'm saying, because Algo Guy is not bearish now. So that's my filter for the bark trade. So we definitely got the ATR. That's where I got stopped out of that trade. The rest of my short from this morning, right? And here's your retest. Shocker, shocker, by the way. That was in here too. Let's see. Oh, we already talked about that. You already got filled on the one. I think this might have been the 2 ATR. So there's a lot of people in my room that take the ones and the twos, right? So they'll take the one. This was the one. Back to the zone. The 2 ATR reversion. Back to the zone. Let's see if that was an exact fill. Would not surprise me. Let's see. That's a very active trade, though. You got to be, you know, it's like a scalp trade basically, and all you guys want to scalp, so that's your trade. 06 was the entry for that. It may have changed a little bit with this ATR, depending. Popped up a little bit, but just say it was 06. What did I say, 06? I don't know if he would have been filled on the 2, though. Let's see. No, he wouldn't have got onto the 2, but the 1 worked a couple times. All right, so if this comes back out of here, I'll take the long. I'm going to change my ATR. It is 24.94. You got to stay on top of your ATR until you get the fill. Right? Now I can go long at 93. I could put on 4 based on the size of the zone, the ATR. It tells me exactly. So in this trade, I'm risking 64 points. I don't care if this ATR pops up to 60. I'd be risking 145 points. Well, it doesn't matter. It's all relative, right? You adjust your size. You don't adjust what you want to risk. That's all I do is preach to you guys. You're using these static stops. I don't force my will onto the market. I don't say, I don't want to risk 64 points. I only want to risk 20 points. The market doesn't care about what you want to risk. It cares about volatility and these volume events. So I don't care what this is. I just it'll adjust my size automatically based on what my risk parameters are. For these trades, I'm risking $500 per trade on these different Apex accounts, right? So I will put on a 4 lot of MNQ based on my risk, based on the zone and the volatility, right? Stop using static stops with your trades. You do whatever you want. You're not going to be around long. I can tell you that. All right, so if this comes back out of here, I will go along at 93. Let me put that in here. That is working. There was something in ES. I forgot. I got to get over here. Hopefully it didn't move away from the zone. Looks like I missed a trade, potentially. This was 700 and something. So this is an example where you combine both these zones, right? This was not threshold, but this was the same house, it looks like. You can see it on the on-chart. I have mine set for yellow. This line, there was buy ice there. It moved up higher. They tried to sell it, tried to sell it, tried to sell it, triggered more buy ice. So I would combine this one with this one. They're about a minute apart. So you got almost 1,200 ice, right? Best way to draw these is get your bubbles off so you can see the last traded price. It looks like that is the top. And I'm almost positive I missed a trade here, but we'll see. I'm thinking this was an inflection zone. Change the color. Sorry, I thought I would have my shiny new zone drawing tool working today. It's been incredible. It saves me so much time. It's awesome. You got to adjust the zones a little bit as of right now until we get it tightened up, but it's incredible. You guys will have access to that too. That'll be a subscription type thing too once we get that rolling. Anyway, this zone was 44.1050 to 44.08 quarter. So all I do, come over here, plug in my zone. 44.08. I think that's the right handle. Hold on. And then ATR in here is 4.97. So it just computes all my prices. I don't have to make decisions. It's just, there it is. So I'll come back here in a second. That's step 1. Now let's see where we're at. Let's see what different strategies I can apply to this volume event. So that happened up here. It wasn't quite an Izzy zone. This did bounce off this Izzy zone, but there wasn't an event. That's why I didn't do anything, right? That would have been a nice trade there if I could have got long there, but it didn't happen. So this new event is in between these two zones. So I'm not doing, there's no Izzy trade to be had here. Let's see if there is any, check my Ludwig levels. This is typical bounce off the blue lug. Went a little bit below there, got above. There we are. We got new lugs. Okay, so there's no lug trade here either. We'll go over that if those present themselves. These are Ludwig levels. It's in this sheet. These are the second. That's the second most powerful thing I've ever seen in futures trading. Right here. Join the 3-day trial and say you saw it on Bookmap for special pricing. Click on that. But there's no trade based on my strategies. We have two different strategies. Stop runs at the major lugs where it's a fade trade, this aggressive trade, that's called the slug, and then we got the new one, I lug you. I do this on purpose, guys, so I can make myself laugh as I'm actually being serious about trading. You got to make yourself laugh. Anyway, that's if you have an iceberg at a lug and then a retest fails, but that's not happening here either. It is at the yellow, but I'm talking the major lugs. That's what I'm trading off of. So there's nothing there. What I needed to do here, so when you, with the Sierra chart, when you roll the contract, I lose all my market profile composites. I fixed NASDAQ earlier. I didn't get a chance to come over here, so let's see what was over here prior. I don't think this was a composite. Let's see. Yeah, that was a 2-dayer, so this is one. So the value areas of 2 single days merged or overlapped. So I make that a composite value area, and these are very, very powerful areas. You can see this market pretty much took off from here, and then this is another one here. This is from back in June, obviously, but they're still relevant. This is the first time back down here, so that's why I needed to have those up. Let's see. You can see this is basically where it didn't quite get down to the bottom here. This is where this bounced. This day as well, pretty damn close. So didn't quite get down here. All right, what did I just fill on? What did I just fill on? Hold on. I just filled. So I'm long NASDAQ now. The NASDAQ just filled. All right, so we're watching this zone too. I don't think Algo Guy is flipped on this on ES. But I took the NASDAQ, I'll go over that here. Yeah, Algo Guy is still bearish on, so I can't, the only thing I could take in ES are short trades on the BARF and the lick. You can see there is liquidity up here. I couldn't take a lick trade though on this particular setup, so we'll see how this develops. I am long NASDAQ, that just fired off. There you go. This is just the pattern over and over and over and over. Got your ATR, here's your retest. I went long. So I'm long, now I'm gonna trail my stop. Am I going to trail my stop back to break even? This is already a decent move.
By NQ, 161 contract.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want. Now I can trail my stop. But my point is, I don't just trail my stop. Oh, I got a profit. I'm going to trail it tonight. You are so likely to get stopped out. I was going to force this thing to come all the way back below this event. Now there's a new event. I'm going to draw that, and I'm going to bring my stop below that event. So you can see on a trending day, there's a way you can get multiple trades on in that direction, and you're just trailing your stop to the most recent event. I'm going to delete this zone. I can't delete this zone. This was the drawing tool that's on the fritz today for some reason. But I'm going to draw this or remove this because there's going to be too many lines up here and it's going to confuse me and people watching. All right, so you saw this zone here. You saw this event here, 161. We talked about not drawing under 300, but this is kind of slowed down. And, from to trail my stops, I'm okay trailing it to events like this. Plus, this was an area of a bunch of other stuff, so I'm okay here. And here we go with the Mr. Tick Strike. It's fun when it's in your favor. It's not so fun when it's not in your favor. Listening to it. All right, so the stop run was. It's crucial for my trading. Don't get me wrong. It's just when it's against you, I literally have to turn it off most days because I already want to punch something when I'm losing on my trades, and then when I got to listen to it. The only thing that would make it worse. It's already tickling 2 senses, your sight and your losses are tickling your sight and your hearing. I'm thinking about coming up with a skunk box or a smell box. So when the market's moving against you, it like emits a skunk smell. Then you get all your senses tickled. Yes, I am crazy. 15,008 to 15,0450 is your zone. I'm going to plug this in and I'm going to trail my long to this event and then possibly go long again off of the new event. 15,008, 15,004. ATR is 26.63. All right, so if I were to go long of this event, my stop would be at 74. So I'm going to move that to 74, and I could potentially go long off of this event too, like I said. So I'm basically going to scratch this trade. I forgot my exact entry, but if it comes back now, remember I'm not trailing my stop because I don't want to get back my profit. I'm trailing my stop based on a new event. Right? put that in. All right, that's working. Now I watch this new event. If this touches the validation price, to make this a long setup at 34.75, and it comes back, your retest fails, I'll take another long. And I'll put on a lick trade too. You see this liquidity up there. Hold on. I don't like when I get messages from my room. I must not be seeing something. Hold on. Okay, that's nothing. All right. So if you guys got questions, throw them in the YouTube chat. Nicholas, how does your trailing style perform with Apex intraday trailing threshold? At first glance, it does not seem it will be compatible. What do you mean by that? There's no intraday trailing stop for Apex. It's if you trail, so I'm doing the $5,000 account, or they call them $150,000 accounts. I might as well go over this now since we're on here. So this is this. Because this thing is incredible. If you're working on your trading, if you have a small account, you can do these. They're not, so right now they got their 80% thing. Use Pulcini 50 for any sale that they have and you'll get the discount, right? So so what I did is I finally tightened this stuff up. I started this last February or March, right? Where I started to assign Apex accounts to these trading strategies so we can get the exact stats, so on and so forth. That's kind of gone out the window because I've made so many damn mistakes, so the stats aren't accurate yet. So once these all go live, which they all will be live eventually, because this is the best edge you can possibly have, right? But it's a grind. Trading is a grind. Once I get these live, I'm going to hire somebody to do this stuff because I've made so many mistakes. You can ask my trade room. Just like putting on the trade on the wrong account, forgetting stops, blowing out a couple weeks ago. I forgot to get it out of my trade for soybeans. I had 3 different accounts on. Into the number, I lost $1,000 on each account. It's just that's not indicative of the winning percentages of the accounts. But regardless, this is what I am doing for each of these accounts, so we can get an accurate assessment of these individual trading strategies. Back to this. So each one of these are 150. So the way this works is, this is the only thing I don't like about it. I always say, right? It's not a $150,000 trading account. I mean, if it's $150,000 trading account, then you should be able to lose $150,000. This is the most you can lose, and it's a trailing stop until you go live, and that's a little bit of a different situation. But so I consider it a $5,000 trading account, and that's why in these where I put my risk in, I put in $5,000, and I'm risking 10%. This is very, very aggressive, right? So once those go live, I will not be risking 10%. I'm going to be risking 2%. You should never be risking more than 2% on individual trades unless it's an A+ trade. And it's okay to trade 4%. You can even trade up into 6% if you love a trade, right? It's going for the throat. Nothing wrong with that. But you should not be losing more than 6% of your account size in a day, right? If you hit that amount, and like I said, you could put it all in one trade. That's fine. Then you got to be done for the day if you lose. I'm telling you, out of all the stuff you're listening to me, this is probably the most important, respecting your loss limits. Because if you don't, you're going to blow out your account eventually. You're going to have a day where shit hits the fan, pardon my language, you're on tilt, and you lose 60, 70, 80% of your account or more. And then you're just sitting here in a daze like, what did I just do? Trust me, I can't tell you how many days. You guys have all heard the stories of me losing $1.6 million in 2 different trading days just because I didn't respect my loss limits. And I would literally wake up the next day and I would say, what was I thinking? It's so clear when you're not in the heat of the battle, right? And you're not on tilt. They call it on tilt when you lose your mind. So anyway, just don't let that happen is what I'm telling you, because it's going to happen if you're not respecting your loss limits. So anyway, that's the Apex. So what I was getting at is I don't understand. There's not an intraday trailing stop. It's this $5,000, right? So what does that mean? And I've done this multiple times on these accounts because you have drawdowns, right? So if I have a $150,000 account, I get up to 150. So you got to make 9,000 before you lose 5,000, right? So I get up to $7,000. This has happened probably 10 times on these accounts, by the way. And I'll have a drawdown because that's what happens in trading. It's called drawdowns. Your P&L will look like this if you're a realist. If you want to be realistic about trading, most days are make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little, and then you'll have the huge day. and then you make a little, lose a little. Most of the day, 80% of the days are that, and then you'll have a huge day. You never have a huge down day because you'll cut your risk, right? But the point is, I would be up $7,000 on these, and then I would have some losing trades and forget orders in the order book, like I was saying, and I would drop back down the 5,000 trailing stop. I'd still be up $2,000 in the account, but I lose the account because that's the rules, right? And it's great. It's a great risk management to for you to learn how to respect your risk, right? So anyway, it's nothing worse with having a profitable account and then you blow out the account, right? But you can't. That's the trailing stop. There's no intraday trailing stop. It's $5,000. The max drawdown always trails by $2,500. No, it does not. It depends on what you're using. Not for this account. Maybe for one of these $2,500 accounts. If you're doing the $50,000, then yeah, that's the trailing threshold. Absolutely. I'm doing the 150. My trailing threshold is 5,000. Right? Once you go live, it's different. To begin with, yeah, it's 5,000, right? So I start at 150 the live. When you get funded, right? You're at 150. It's not good drawing, but you get the point. I go up 5,000. I go back 5,000. I'm out. But then, say I go up 10,000, and then I pull back 5. I'm not out. I got to pull back all the way to 150. I think it's 150, 500. They use the 500. If I go up 20,000, it's not 5,000 pullback. I've got to pull back 20,000. So you can see with the live, you can start to really build up your account for real, and then you're off to the races, and then you withdraw or whatever. You obviously don't want to withdraw too much because then that takes off. So if I'm up 20 grand and I pull out 15, well, now I only have the 5,000 back to the 150,000. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you're doing the 50,000 account, then yeah, you got a trailing stop of 20. It's not intraday. It's any day. It's for the entire time you're trading, right? So if that makes sense. On your paid funded account, the trail stop will have you exceed the risk level by $100, right? So it's 500 for this one. So if you come back to 150, 500 on the live account, then you're out. Other than that, it can grow and you can have $5,000 drawdowns and you don't blow it out. So you're right, but you're wrong. It's not a daily trailing stop. What did I just fill on? I just stopped out of my NASDAQ. Hold on. So NASDAQ's a whippy little pig today, right? It is what it is. But I'm following my rules, right? I gave this long a chance. I got a new event. It stopped out. I was long off of that, right? Got this new event. My stop was down here. And I brought it up to here. I just stopped out of the trade. Basically a scratch. I lost a few points on it. So now this is actually a bearish event. And what I didn't check to see if this was a Nizzy zone. I don't think it was, because I could have shorted aggressively off of a different trading strategy. It was not. So there's nothing here as far as my inflection zones. I don't see anything back here either. So, if this continues, tomorrow I'll probably draw a zone here. Why? Well, you could probably draw a zone here right now because this thing is instant rejection twice now. That's a tail. A tail is instant rejection. Tails are very, very, very powerful, right? Selling tail, selling tail. So you could, if you want, make that a zone right now. I'm just going to let it be just in case this, because the hour is not done. So this could be not a tail if it comes back up during this hour. You know what I'm saying? So, but pay attention to tails is what I'm saying. All right, what is that? Oh, that was, so here's the crude. Surprise, surprise. Here's the retest of that event, right? Let's see if you would have got your ATRs, which I know you got at least one of them. Let's see. So here's my zone. The one ATR short was at 57. You stop out at 89. Let's see if you would have stopped out of that one. No, you made money on that one. You're out at the zone. So you're in at 57, stop at 89, out at 36. The one ATR is less than 1-to-1, but it's very active, meaning 1-to-1 risk. Second one, you're in at 81, stop out at 14. Obviously that didn't happen. Back out at the top of the zone. So did you get in that one? No. But you got in the one worked, right? So this is an official bullish setup. So I'm talking about two different trades here. The ATR trade worked. It's just a trade back to the zone. So if this were to come back out, I can go long. If this gets an ATR below this zone, then my long is disqualified. And then I just wait for a new event. What's that price? It's all in here. Make sure your ATR is up to date. Up to the second, I should say. Still 0.26. It's fine. So if this gets, remember I will go long, but if this touches my invalidation price for long, 90.05, I cannot take a long off of that setup. So if this gets down to 90.05, I cannot take the bark and the lick. So as of right now, I'm taking the bark of the lick. As long as it doesn't touch 90.05 below, I will take the bark trade, blind ATR retest confirm, and the lick trade, which is a bark that trades to the liquidity. So I will put that on if it comes back. Let's get that set up right now. Here's your price, 90.64. I can put on 8 based on the zone and the volatility. 8 at 90.64. Two different trading strategies, the lick and the bark. Of course, I just put it on the wrong account because that's what I do. 90.64. And then, hold on, let me see what this one is. Sorry. It's the energy bark, 71. Excuse me. All right, so those are working. So if it comes back, I'm going to be long both of those. Let's take a look at where we are on the lugs. Just bouncing around yellow lug. So, we come up with a thesis every day based on the lugs, how the lugs are reacting to the market and market profile. So you can see yesterday, crude, this is just the day I spread it out, right? Opened up right at the bottom of this puppy, got out of here, bounced off of here, got inside here, pretty much failed at point of control, then died back outside of it, covered this entire thing again. Today, opened outside, it's doing the same thing. It failed at point of control, it's trying to get back out of here. If this holds though, this time I expect it to get to the other side. That's what you have to expect, that's what normally occurs. But if this doesn't, and this fails back out of here again, then I would expect it to do the same thing again, right? So this is a pretty important area right here. So I'm okay going long. So the whole idea with thesis too, guys, I'm a day trader. I'll trade both ways. If I get setups in the direction I think they're happening, I can trade bigger. So I just said if this accepts in here, I expect the other side. Is that enough for me to trade double size? Not really, because right now I don't think this is I don't really have an opinion, a strong opinion. We're just bouncing around this balance area that's been developing the last 2 days, right? Now, if it breaks out of this, and it gets through this prior balance, high volume node, this is actually our next setup that's coming. One of the trading strategies, our next trading strategy is coming. It's a breakout of current balance through the high volume node of prior balance. Then I would trade bigger size. Like if I start getting bullish events like up in here, then I would trade bigger size because of what happened with the market structure, aka my thesis, right? Trading's if-then scenarios. Right now, it's like I don't really have an opinion, but I'll still take a long. I'm just not going to trade bigger, is what I'm saying. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. But the trailing threshold is based on open trades, not closed trades. So if a trade went up 4,000 and it's break even, that counts against your trailing threshold. Yeah, if your trade's open and you give back the amount, yes, it's still the same thing, Nicholas. Like, I don't know why you're arguing with me about this. I've been trading this thing for 2 years, for a year and a half, right? Yes, it's open trades, and they go by your high point of the day. But that's still, it's a trailing. You're acting like it's just for the day. It's not for the day. If I put on a trade, yeah, technically it's for the day, but it's overall. So if I have a trade on and I tick up during my open trade plus $7,000, and I'm talking about the $150,000 account, and it comes back 5,000, and I give back 5,000 on that open trade. Yeah, that's it. You're stopped out. It's the same thing, open or closed. It doesn't matter, right? So I don't know what the argument is here. It's a trailing stop whether you have the thing open or closed. If you close one and put a new trade on and you lose $5,000, you're out. If you have a trade on live, open, and it comes back $5,000, you're out. My style would be better at Top Step. No, it would not. Trust me, I've used it. Don't even get me started with that, guys. So I put my name on Apex for a reason, right? Because I've seen these other ones. I'm not naming names. You can name them. I'm not naming them. A lot of these guys, a lot of these ones, they're set up to take your money because they know 95% of traders fail. So it's a great business model, don't get me wrong, but they're not interested in funding traders. They're interested in taking your cash to do the tryouts, right? So again, I'm not naming names, but back when I was struggling I'm talking 2013 when right before I got knocked out of the business because I couldn't make money anymore with my style, which I thought those videos would be ready by today. Actually, let me check right now and see if they're ready. I brought them. I finally sucked it up and brought them to a service, and they're dragging their feet on it. But I'm going to show you how I used to trade. Anyway, that way disappeared. So I went from making millions and millions of dollars to overnight couldn't make a dollar. That was like 2006, late 2005, 2006. Then I hung on for another 6-7 years. So then I got to the point, like I left my trading firm, was trying to trade it with my own money, and then it got to the point where it was like, okay, I'm going to try one of these funding companies. It was 2013, and it was a bunch of nonsense. It was, okay, you got to pass the trial. I passed the trial. Okay, now you got to do a live market trial. I'm like, well, I thought that was a live market trial, so then I would pass that. Now I got to do a secret squirrel combine. It was a joke, right? So the point is, this is the one I put my name on. I stand behind it. I've been using them for a year and a half. They do everything they say they're going to do. I've been paid out multiple times on some of these accounts. They do what they say they're going to do. That's all I can tell you, right? I don't, I'm not a part owner of that company, but that's the one. This is the one that I put my name on, right? So hopefully they don't go under, right? But they've done everything they say they're going to do. So you can see the testimonials. You can Google them. There's always going to be a bad apple that did something stupid and then they're blaming Apex. Oh, they're blah, blah, blah. There's always, guys, if this thing were, not real or that it was a scam, it would be all over the internet in 2 seconds and then whatever. But I'm telling you, these other ones, I haven't tested them all out. So there could be legitimate ones out there, but I'm telling you the majority of them, because they're popping up all over the place, majority of them just want to take your funds to enter the thing. All right, I'm done talking about Apex right now. So, oh, by the way, this was Spot Gamma yesterday AM, and we talked about this in my room too. Look what he said here. So I tell my room all the time, and you should know this if you have Spot Gamma. This is incredible information, right? He's got the hero. We can look at that here in a second. But just knowing, so the way I use these Spot Gamma areas is just basic support and resistance, and then I love his commentary on what, based on how these options areas are reacting, what the percentage, the probability, because that's all trading is, the probability of something happening over another, right? So I use these zones, so you can see this is already basically bounced off of this Spot Gamma level this first time. These options levels are very, very important because these dealers are big futures participants, right? So options dealers have to hedge their futures, hedge their positions with futures. So it would be very helpful for you to know where those areas, where the highest concentrated options areas are. That's what Spot Gamma is. Yes, he's a brainiac. I mean, the guy is beyond smart, and he goes down all these options rabbit holes sometimes, and I just basically tune it out and I look at the bigger picture stuff. I told my room this yesterday. When he starts to talk in these terms, you want to pay attention, right? So he said, all right, this was before the FOMC yesterday. Outlook again is for the S&P to march towards one of these walls today. So this is what he said for this wall. To the upside, the 4,500 call wall. To the downside, 4,400 put wall. Then he said, after the numbers, to march towards one of these walls today. Well, it certainly marched towards one of those walls to the downside, right? Then he said, again, he does not use this verbiage, whatever the damn word is. We maintain this view that today triggers a move which feeds into the large September 29th positions, which gives the market the opportunity for a 5% move over the next 10 sessions. When he talks like this, pay attention. And then look what's happening, right? So he's basically saying 5% move, then this is on its way to becoming a 5% move. And he's basically saying down at 4,300. And then so I take that into consideration when, remember, we were talking about thesis, and then I look at market structure. We've been talking about this in my room for days. That was a failed breakout. I said, watch out. Got through that. Watch out in this market. Then it tried to hold its head for a while, broke down, came back, wanted to retest this exact high volume on this balance area, killed. Now this looks like this is heading down to these zones, right? So I can use my thesis with my market structure based on, and then Spot Gamma, things like that. So this is how Spot Gamma is so helpful. Let's see what the hero looks like today. Guess I might have to reset this. Hold on. Oh, it's working. That's good. Let's see what SPX looks like. So this is not a red light, green light thing, guys. Like I get all these people like, it doesn't work. It doesn't. Nothing works all the time, and there's certain areas that this works at, especially Spot Gamma areas. First of all, I need to learn how to use this. There we go. Let's see what I'm not going to get too into this today. look here. This is next expiration. So look at this. So I don't know the notionals, like what's a lot, what's a little. I think they're coming up with alerts for that. But you can see what's happening here. The options, the 0 date to expiration, and that is the driver lately of the markets, right? That's why you want to know what this thing's doing too. Look at this. This is starting to do this. It's very likely the market is bottoming out here, and it's going to turn around and follow this. Did you hear what I said? Likely. Did I say 100%? No. This thing could turn around and do that. But as of right now, I would definitely use this as part of my thesis. Like, okay, so if you get a volume event, say you love Hero. There's no reason not to love Hero, right? You get a volume event, and you know this is happening. You're like, you know what? That's my trading strategy. We talk about volume events with trading strategies. You can have a Hero trading strategy. I'm going long the minute it breaks out of a volume event because I know this thing's ripping the other way, right? So where Hero is very important, he's talked about this many times too, are around spot gamma levels. Well, we're around the spot gamma levels, so that looks like this may be the low. And then you can also talk about thesis. Look at this up here. You can bet your ass, pardon my language, that this is going to hit this liquidity probably today. So now you see how I'm building a thesis, right? Trust me, I think this market's going to zero. I keep saying it as a joke. I don't think it's actually going to zero, but I think it's going to get smoked. Does that mean I won't take longs? I'm a day trader. I'll take longs, right? Especially if I got a volume event right here. This is it. Now here we go. See how everything's starting to layer on top of each other? It's called confluence. We saw Hero doing this. We saw spot gamma level. We see inflection zone, right? So if I get a volume event right now, I would definitely take a long, and I could probably take a long bigger size. Again, I don't love the markets to the long side, but this is a pretty big move where we all know this thing's going to bounce a little bit. I didn't say it's going to happen right now, but the point is you could take bigger positions on the longs if that were to happen right now, if I get a volume event right here. This volume event is a bearish event, and actually I think I missed this trade. No, I didn't. So this particular event that happened, so this is the basis of my trading, this is a bearish event. So, per my rules, if this were to do this, I have to go short if I'm going to follow my trading rules. And that's why you want trading strategies, because you don't want to sit here and say, well, that feels terrible. And you can see here on the bark trade, that's the trade I would take there. Do you see anywhere in here where I say I'm not going to take it if the Hero is ripping the other way? I'm not going to take it into an Izzy zone. You could add that to your trading plan, but one, you don't want to do it on the fly. You want to do it, have that all written out beforehand, where there's nothing wrong with saying I don't take shorts in the inflection zones. I don't take shorts in the spot gamma levels. I don't take shorts if the Hero's ripping the other way. But you got to be consistent and do it every time. See what I'm saying? I don't have that as part of my trade plan right now. So the point is, if it did this, I would take the short. I'm hoping I just get an event here and I can go along based on what I'm seeing with the other stuff. But if this happens, I'll take my short. So hopefully that makes sense. I need to take a break, by the way. Take a breath. All right. Did this? I have this long working in crude. Did that get to that 05? It might have. That might be disqualified. Let's see. Real close. Got down to 08. Just make sure the ATR didn't change. Remember, I haven't worked that long. Have not been filled yet, but let's see. Yeah, it's the same. So as long as it doesn't invalidate my long with this price, 05, I can still go long off that volume event. And that did not get down there yet. It came within 3 ticks, but it didn't get down there. Those are just my rules from watching 4.2 million of these and the tendencies. So I'm still going to take the long, the lick, and the bark off of this event. ATR retest failure. It did not disqualify, so I'm going to go long here. I think where's my order at? 50 something. Hold on, 60. It's at 63. I'm going to go long, bark, and lick. Trading up to this for the lick, and then possibly further for the bark. So let's see what happens there. Here we go. Looks like this is starting to move higher. I am not trading without a setup, guys. So my point is, I have it in my head what's going on. Inflection zone, Hero, spot gamma level. You still don't see me putting on a long trade, right? If I get a volume event, which is the driver of my trading, which is highly recommended as a driver of your trading too, because this is the most powerful edge you can have in trading, futures trading. I won't put a trade on until I get that. So nothing to do there yet. I will watch that. Let's see what else is going on here. I did not step out of this gold trade yet, I don't think. Maybe I did. No, I'm still long that from this morning. We already went over that trade. Other than that, it's pretty slow. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. Do I publish your results somewhere on my website? Well, I publish my results for those trading strategies in here, but like I said, the issue is, and guys, what you're not understanding is, so first of all, this is my trade room. This is one of the best things that's been said. This is actually my moderator who said it, but it couldn't have been more right here, right? So this is so important. So the biggest problem with traders is coming up with an edge, right? Well, what's an edge? Here we go. You guys want the rant? You're going to get the rant. Here's the Trading in the Zone document. This is directly out of Trading in the Zone. Obviously, I've changed it for stuff that I find important for my trading, but down here. So the ATR reversion trade came out of me doing this exercise, right? It's this exercise down here, but we'll get to that in a second. So guys, until you can internalize this information in here, it's again straight out of Trading in the Zone. Get the book by Mark Douglas, audio book, regular book. It's worth its weight in gold, right? Because until you can internalize this, you're never going to make it as a trader. All trading is trading probability. An edge is nothing more than an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. That's all an edge is. Then there is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables to find an edge. What does this remind you of? It reminds you of a casino, right? I know I go over this every webinar, guys, but until you understand and believe this, and there's always new traders on here, so I like to go over it. Casino deals hands, rolls dice, slot machines every day. There's winners, right? Some guys get hot and kill them for a given day. Do they just shut down the casino when they have a losing day, a losing week? No. Why? Because they know they have an edge, aka the math, an edge, right? So they just keep dealing the hands. So if you have an edge, this is what I'm getting at, you keep taking the trades. The problem with traders is they think they have edges. They find their shiny new indicator tool. They put on a couple trades like, oh, this is awesome, man. Yeah. And then they take 10 losers in a row and they're like, F this. I'm not using this thing. It sucks. This is the greatest. These events inherently are an edge. It's been, I've been doing this for 5 years. This room's been around for almost 3 years, 2.5 years. So this is what he says right here. The strategies in this room are tried and tested. So the losses are just part of the random distribution. Does that sound familiar? It's what we just read. The point is, if you come in here and you get my course and you learn the stuff, you don't have, that is 80% of the battle. You don't have to wonder, hey, is this an edge? You know it's an edge. So now you start to really focus on coming up with your trading rules, so on and so forth. But you don't have to sit there and keep saying, oh, this doesn't work, I'm going to go on to my next thing. This is the edge. It's the ultimate edge. That leads me to this stuff. So here are all my, we just talked about, these are my trading strategies, right? The dada, the lick, the izzy, the slug. So I was posting in here for a while of my results, right? The problem is with these results, they're not, I want to wait till these go live because these are not completely accurate actually at all, because because I'm one dude, I keep making mistakes, right? So it's like, you can ask my trader room, come on my trader room and you're going to see it. I make about 5 a day, but like I'll forget to, because I'm in the middle like this, I'm in the middle of webinars. I guarantee I have orders working the book. I got to go delete. I'll forget. A number will come out. I'll get run over. Is that indicative of the trading strategy? No. I'll put it on. I just did it I almost did it 3 times today alone, where I'll go to put a strategy on one of these Apex accounts and I put on the wrong one. Is that indicative of that strategy? No. So that's the one problem with it, right? 2, these are subjective areas where I get out. So that's in this. So I get out when I put on the position trades, right? So for instance, if I go long here in the crude, if I get filled on this trade, that's great. Everything's black and white for my entry. What is not black and white? Where I get out. I can literally give you step by step by step, and I post my trades all the time in my room, like live, like I'm ready to get long this, I'm going to go short here, I just got long this. You could totally screw it up. You can say, you can get in the trades and say you get long here, and you pull the usual trader mistake and it's running and you're like, okay, I'm gonna trail my stop, and then just because you don't want to lose money, and then it comes out, stops out, then it does that. Well, is that indicative? And then I'm waiting for my areas, right? So the point is, even if you put these strategies on, you can find a way to screw them up, and you're possibly not getting it. You possibly don't believe, or not that you don't believe, because these areas are the most important areas that I find important. Doesn't mean that you need to find them important. You may have other areas. So you may be getting in, say you get in, we're going to keep using that crude trade as an example. So you take that bark and lick and it's rolling. You're like, oh, I like to get out of my trades at the 200 moving day average. And I'm going to hold it to there. Or I like to get 4R out of my trades. Like we've talked about this fallacy where you don't get out until you get 4R. Like I don't ignore areas just because I don't have the correct R in my trade. The point is, you may be getting out here. I may be getting out 100 ticks lower or 100 ticks higher, depending on these. So I piece out of my trades at certain areas. Do you see why it's not accurate? So what I tell my room is all you got to do. So when you come in my room, you have access to 3.5 years of data feeds right here. 3.5 years. What are these? You pull up your book map and you replay the day. I mean, I don't know if I think this goes back to 2021. Any day that you want to look at, you replay it. This is what you should be doing anyway until you know what you're doing. Draw the zones, right? Draw the zones. Stop the replay. Draw the zones. Enter. You can trade on the replay and everything, and come up with your own stats. That's all I can tell you, right? Like I know it's an edge. You can come in my room and see the countless people. There's a couple guy. One dude's made over $1 million. You know, he started with a $150,000 account. That's real money. That's not Apex money. That's real money. There's another guy killing. There's a bunch of people doing very well in there. So come in there. Don't take my word for it. But back to the trading strategy probabilities. Until I get those live and hire somebody to get it very accurate, they're not accurate anyway. So there you go. That's my long-winded answer to that. But the proof's in the pudding. If you don't believe it, replay the days. You guys get the data feeds on your own too. They save your computer, but obviously you don't want to save 3 years on your computer because your computer won't work very well. Run the trades yourself and come up with. That's what you should be doing anyway. You should never take anyone's word for anything. Run the stuff yourself and see if it's accurate. I can tell you it's accurate. I can tell you this is the best edge in the history of the planet, futures trading. But you should want to find that out for yourself. So find it out for yourself. All right, what else? When I see big resistance areas in Bookmap and the price is under and the price is in a clear downtrend, I do interpret it as a seller's pressure, and that will keep price going down unless the zone gets absorbed. I am in the right path. When I see big resistance areas in Bookmap and the price is under it, the price is.
Stops LDS 800.
I'll come back to that. But yeah, if it's in the downtrend, and you can come up with trading strategies. I only take, if I interpret it as a downtrend, I only take bearish setups, stuff like that. I'll try to get into that a little more. So here you go. Here's a volume of NES, right? I was saying there's a very good likelihood this market turns over back up to the upside. Let's see what this here looks like. I'm still going to take the trade, see how this is turning back over now. There's still a divergence here. But the point is things can change, right? And that's not part of my trade plan. I like to just come up with different reasons to trade bigger, so on and so forth. So let's just draw this zone and we'll trade it accordingly. I know this is an Izzy zone, so I will be taking a long out of here aggressively if it presents itself. This is how I do it. Volume event. Like I said, I really wish you guys could see this drawing tool. It's awesome. We have a couple people beta testing it. The people that are active in my trade room and actually participate, they got first crack at it. It will be available to everyone once we get it humming, but as of right now, it's not available. And I don't even have it actually today. 43.98.75 to 97.25. 43.98.75. I have no short-term memory. That's why I have to go back and look at it. 43.97.25. ATR is 4.82. All right, so now what's my next step? I drew the zone, I put it in the spreadsheet. Now I look for bigger picture stuff. We've already talked about this is an inflection zone. This is something prior. I don't even know if this will go back and show me it. Let's see. Oops. Why does it disappear there? Maybe it's something not too long ago. Yeah. So this is where this market this day, what was this day? Back in June. Gapped up from this zone, opened up, directional conviction out of here. That's the first test of that. And then it was the bottom of this, that's wrong color, hold on. So yeah, the directional conviction, and then the bottom here led to another move out of here, so that's why I have this on. This one's pretty wide actually, but whatever. It's in the zone. I have a vibe event that triggers a potential long. Potential. I don't just. This is the thing, guys. If you don't have Bookmap, you're just like, oh, this is an important zone. I'm gonna just jump in along here, right? You're like, okay. I mean, I need more confirmation, right? The most important confirmation. What's really happening in the market right now? Here you go. Here's a vibe event. So as long as this doesn't get an ATR below here, which would disqualify my long for this event, then I'll take a long. There's a way I can go short on a different strategy. What's that strategy? There's a couple different ones. Here's the bark. Blind ATR retest confirm. I need, and I actually have July and August, but I'm just going to leave this. This is going to be delayed. Only in the direction, because I like this because it saved me a lot. I went back and looked at a lot of my trades, and a lot of them were against algo guy, especially these trades that are all, nonstop. Only in it. So I got to confirm algo guys in my direction. It is. I mean, as far as a short, that is a bearish algo guy. It's been bearish since yesterday afternoon, right? So I know I could take barks and lick on the other side. Do you see there's different strategies? If the Izzy trade holds, I'll take a long. Other than that, I'm taking a bark and potentially a lick strategy. Let's see if there's liquidity down here. There certainly is, right? So I will take, so I'm just waiting now. I don't know what I'm going to do. I may take the long as long as this doesn't disqualify to the short side. And that's all in the spreadsheet, guys. You guys all have access to this now. You always ask me about it. Here it is, right? So this is the same thing that I'm using here. It's the same exact spreadsheet, right? So if this market touches the long invalidation price of 92.50, which is the same as the validation price for a short, I can't go long. So if this gets down to 92.50, I cannot take a long. I remember I was talking about taking the Izzy long. But then what would be in play? Then my shorts would be in play. Then I wait. And then I take that trade. But I'm waiting to see. I don't just jump in trades at these events because I have no idea which way. Nobody has any idea until it does it. So I'm waiting to see based on my rules. And my rules are from watching thousands of these setups. If you want to, I say it every week, if this is the science, the art is how you trade them. Well, you may want to follow my art since I've watched so many of them. When you get 14,000 under your belt and you want to trade them a certain way, fine. And you can have 4 under your belt. If you want to do whatever you want to do with these, go ahead. It'd probably behoove you to listen to how I trade them and do that at first. And as you get really good at it, then you could start put your own spin on things. Anyway, I'm waiting for that or that. And I'm going to take an aggressive long, meaning I get the minute it breaks out of here, an ATR, I'm in. Or the ATR retest fell short based on my strategies. So that's when I'm going to wait and see what I'm going to do here. Yes, just hit your bark short entry criteria. No, I just went over that, Sean. Captain Price. Hey, there he is. Captain Caffeinated's back. You're actually I'm kind of disappointed in you today, Captain Caffeinated. Captain Caffeinated. You've only put in 3 texts. If this NQ pukes and all cumulative buyers get stuck. Okay, that's not very clear information. This is already IB low break, kinda. Oh, that's very clear. On ES for stop runs, of course, because of retail thing. Okay, so what are you saying, Captain Price? What's the guaranteed trade here? I always love your guaranteed takes on things. What should I do here? What should I bet my house on that can't lose?
LTV, 709 contracts.
Maybe just for some of the bonds. What did I just fill on? All right, I just got long crude finally. All right, so we've been waiting on that. The only thing I probably messed up on is I didn't adjust my ATR. There you go. I'm long lick and barf. Talked about this extensively this webinar. It was this one here, the sell ice. That was the last event. You got your ATR. It did move below here. It didn't disqualify. It didn't hit my disqualifying price. I just got long lick and I got long barf. So now I put my stop in and I let the trade work. And now I get out of certain areas. That's what I'm talking about. Like it's not hard. Everybody that, if you guys are mirroring me, which you shouldn't be, you need to be doing your own trading. But if you got in at the same price as me, that's not hard. You're in. Now where are you getting out? You may be getting out at a completely different area than me. That's the point. That's why my stats aren't really relevant for you. All you need to know is the volume events are the best edge you can possibly have in trading, if you want to take my word for it. And I have a little bit of experience in the market. If you don't believe my experience, head over to my website and you can read all about it good and bad, are right here. And I'm going to show these videos here. Next week they will be done, and I will show you my trading. This guy right here, probably the top trading psychologist on the planet. He sat behind me for a full year, and we wanted to see. In 2003, I made $10 million trading. He sat behind me 2004 and watched me trade. He was actually there the one day that I lost 800 grand in about 2 seconds. He sat behind me. He put me in his book. Go read the book. My point is, this is not bragging, right? This is old news, glory days. Point is, you still probably respect my opinion on things, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm telling you, for the 1 millionth time of my life, that these Bookmap and how they outlay this SI indicator and using these volume events are the best edge you can ever have in trading. My opinion, but I would think my opinion holds a little weight, is what I'm saying. All right, so let's put the stop in. What time is it, by the way? Oh, God, okay. I'm not at the. It feels like I've been talking for 3 hours. 90:01 is my stop. So now I just let them work, right? I don't freak out on rotations. We were looking at this market yesterday, and you can tell it's literally one trader in there, one house running the show. What do I mean? Well, you can watch this liquidity. It's hysterical. It's actually not hysterical because it's so annoying. And I love how I rip on the see this guy here, guy or firm, whoever the hell this is. All this liquidity. It's kind of hard to see with my zones. You'll see it all in here, and then it'll pull all of it, and then they'll put it back in. Then they'll it'll look like a black hole, and then they'll put it in. That's telling you it's one house, right? Just playing with the order book, aka algoing people, right? So that's what causes this nonsense, and they know nothing's going on here right now. No big money's playing. That's when they start to whipsaw you out of your money if you don't have rules and not panic out of your trade, right? What I was getting at, I bitch about this stuff all the time. This is all I used to do. I was the king of, and you're going to see this when I show my trading next week, my old trading from 2003, 2004. I was the biggest market manipulator out there, right? And yes, I was 10% of the volume every day. All I would do is mess with people. Back then, spoofing was legal. So it was like I'd put in 1,000 lots and they'd come up there, I'd start to buy, then I would yank it. It would be like an air pocket. I was hated throughout the industry. Even in my own firm, I tell this story every week. You know, the one time I was walking through my office and I heard some guy screaming at me. Like I opened his door, I was just going to the bathroom. I'm like, what's wrong, man? I can't go to the bathroom? Oh, sorry, man. I thought that was you in the market, right? So I used to be the king of market manipulation. But like I said, back then it was legal. Now spoofing is illegal. I'm doing air quotes because it's still going on. But the point is, it's kind of ironic that I bitch about these guys, and that's what I used to do myself. So you'll see it next week. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said, it's not for kids' ears, though. So if you are offended by swearing, it is not the webinar you want to be watching, because it's going to be raw. You're going to see exactly how I was an immature punk as well. I used to break crap. The one video, maybe I'll show that one where I broke, because I used to video my trades because I wanted to, figure out what was going on when outside of the market hours, even outside the other moment. The one I turn around and I knocked the camera off. I'm trying to find someone when Dr. Brett was behind me and talking me off the ledge. Those are pretty funny too. But you'll see next week. All right, so we still don't know what this is, right? This is still rotating around the zone. I'm waiting for these prices to hit. I do have to put on, if I'm going to go long aggressively, I got to put this in right now. This is 4.88 now. So my aggressive entry here is 404 quarter. I can put on 8. This is the Izzy trade. Izzy trades are aggressive trades, meaning the minute it breaks out of the zone, I'm in. I don't wait for the retest of the zone. So I will put that in, 404 quarter. So yeah, right there, I almost put it in the wrong account. That's what I do. It's just hard, guys, doing these webinars, watching 18 markets, 17 markets, and then I just make a lot of mistakes. That's what it is. I will have a helper here eventually. All right, so we're still waiting to see. Other than that, as long as the invalidation price for a short doesn't hit, which is in the spreadsheet, 0375, I can still potentially put on shorts based on this event. So as long as 0375 is not touched, I can still put on my shorts. Now I just wait. All right. There's Captain Caffeinated. He finally got his caffeine in him. I don't even, what are you saying in here? What ATR are you using? I'm using a 5-minute Wilders ATR, and we found the way to get it on Sierra Chart 2. So this is on Thinkorswim, which I'm about to boot. Don't even get me started with this software. You get what you pay for, put it that way, which is nothing. So we found a way. I showed this last week. I didn't, not we. The guy that helped, my moderator who helped build the spreadsheet, basically built the whole thing himself with the ATR version and all that. Anyway, you can see the ATRs in here too. It rounds to one more decimal place, but right here, so you can see 2479 on there, and there it is right there. Same ATR, right in the middle there. So the way you do that quickly, I think I got them all set up, and I usually, here, let's do it on this market here. Wait, no, I have them on all of those. Wait, hold on. Why am I not seeing? I'm seeing different on. Hold on. Why? Hold on. Oh, because I'm on the wrong screen, that's why. So this one right here. So you go here, go to chart. Oh wait, no, sorry. Go to analysis, studies, ATR, or average true range, all the way up here. Hold on, average. This one right here, double click on it, bring it over, double click on it, go to moving average type, pick Wilders, 14. Or it doesn't say Wilders, but it is 14. You'll see that here in a second, right there. Right, so then you hit apply, and there you go. You got the ATR and Sierra chart. That's the same one that I use. 5-minute Wilders ATR. There you go. Here's my P&Ls for the day. So that was my stop out, tick stop out. These are still open, still open. What's this one? Oh, this is my crude trades just rotating. That's what this is showing, that P&L. So I'm still in that, I haven't stopped out. I'm not panicking out of it. If it comes down and stops me out, it stops me out, on to the next trade. It's called probabilities. Guys, I told you, so if you understand what's going on in here, you're not panicking. First of all, we play for reversions back to the zone. So it already actually came back to the zone. But nothing's going on. So that's when you're going to get these jackasses screwing around with your money in your brain. You see that? Look at this. Watch this. Watch how it'll all pop back in here. See how it's like black? Watch this. There you go. You don't think that's one house? That's one house. All these orders, these big orders, it's one house. I'm so glad we got that on video. It's like seeing a UFO, right? So what do you think is going to happen when they're doing that in here? It's going to do that. You're going to get algoed. That's why I force it to come back through my volume event for me to get stopped out. I do not let these jackasses algo me, right? Because I know what goes on. I used to do it, right? So do it all you want. As long as it doesn't violate my zone by an ATR, I am in the trade. Or if I get another volume event, that's a different story. But they know, they can see exactly what we can see. Look at this. Look at this guy playing with the market, right? He knows nothing's going on. No big money's going to run him over. All right, let's start effing with people. That's what that is, guys. I don't know how to put it in any other nicer terms. It's really annoying, I can tell you that. Now I feel why everyone hated me back in the day, but getting a taste of my own medicine. All right, we're close to nothing's really happened here. I told you what I was going to do with this zone when it materializes. Any other questions, throw them in, because I got to hop off this webinar because the next guy's coming in for the Bookmap live trading stuff. Captain Price is making up for his absence earlier. I have to literally scroll through all his text just to find other questions. Well, if I can give me respect, I'm assuming that's me and not Captain Price. Thank you if that's for me. All right, guys. Other than that, I'm long crude. Just went over that. Don't get algoed out. I'm waiting to see how this materializes here. We already talked about that. If it goes short, I'm going to go short bark and lick, play to this liquidity and lower. There's liquidity down here and down here, which it probably is going to go to today. If it moves out of here right now, I will take the long on my Izzy trade. Let's take one more peek at Hero. That came all the way back, and now it's going back up. So I bet you this probably goes up now. Again, guys, there's, this is not red light, green light. It's just good information. In important areas, I think it's really important, but use it. And you get on my website, you use this code here. You can try it for free to begin with, and then if you use my code Scott50, you get it for an extra week. So you can try it for 2 weeks. Try it out, see if you like it. All right, that's it. This is what I do every day in my trade room. You guys have access to my new course. I'll put it in one more time, and all the stuff that I use here, and the spreadsheet. You guys are always asking about the spreadsheet. Now you have access to it. This thing is worth. I can't even tell you what am I charging, $49. This thing's worth about $4.5 million, in my opinion. It's that important in my trade. Like it's a godsend. Thank you, Jay Labrada, for helping build this thing. You got here, you got the strategies. And down here, you have the ATR. That's on here as well. I gave you the link to it. That's this. You can get my zones. You can get them independently, or you can get them together. All right, there you go. All right, I will see you guys next week. I will it's for 99%. I'll be showing some video of my prior trading. You can see how I used to manipulate the market, and then you can see the size I used to throw on, and you can hear me swear the whole time. All right, I'll see you guys next week.